Now, I'm just going to slap this on right away. This is going to be a spoiler review. It's only a big spoiler if you've never watched the original Nosferatu, if you've never read or seen a Dracula movie, because it follows the story beats very well, and I'll get more on that later. And I should say before anything, Merry Christmas to you all. So I just got done seeing the new 2024 Robert Eggers adaptation of Nosferatu. Now, some of my oldest subscribers might remember a while ago, I made a video with my buddies where we reacted to the very first Nosferatu over a Discord call. That was a fun video. I mean, the video is unlisted now, but if you want to watch it, I'll put it in the description. But as someone who loves film history, silent films, I was very, very excited to hear that they're making a new Nosferatu movie. And I was very excited when I learned that Robert Eggers was going to be directing the film. And Robert Eggers was the best decision to make Nosferatu. The camera angles, the shots, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times I was watching the movie and I saw a shot that called back to another shot. Like, it's all the time. One thing that I did like in terms of like shot usage and stuff is that there was certainly a lot of shots that were made to reference the other shots, but they didn't try to recreate the same movie. They had a very unique style to it, which I very much appreciated. I remember on the scene in the boat in the movie, where in the classic one, Nosferatu lifts out of his coffin and it's a whole intense scene. I was wondering, are they going to have that part into it? Because they didn't, with how the scene was being framed, it didn't really make sense. And to my surprise, they didn't have that scene. And when I saw that for the first time, I was wondering, well, why didn't they just redo it? But I appreciated that they left those shots to the original movie and had a whole bunch of homages to other shots that were intermediately in this movie. Now, I know what y'all are asking. Yes, the cat is in the movie. I was so worried about this, because the kitty is like the main star of the freaking movie. We all know this. But, I was very happy that the cat was in the shot, and they actually bring him back to like one of the last shots of the movie, which I thought that was very nice. Now, let's talk to my only real kind of criticism with the movie. I'll talk about all the stuff I like about it. There's a lot to talk about because it was a cool movie. But one thing that I thought was, to me at least, took away from the movie, and I understand why they did, it was interesting. They made Orlok, who is Nosferatu, and they made him a more like fleshed out character in the movie. And I don't know if it's that I'm just so used to the silent film version where obviously it's a silent film. You don't hear what he sounds like. You just see the text things, and he doesn't really speak much in that movie. But in this one, he has a very, very like thick accent voice. I could tell that they're trying to make him more like Dracula from the original Bram Stoker novel, which in that regard I thought they did very well. Because now I'm not going to show what he looked like in the actual movie, just because that would be, I know I said spoiler warnings, but if you really want to get the full experience, you need to watch the movie and like experience what he looks like for the first time, because it's very, very unique looking. But I will say there's a reason why I put a mustache in the thumbnail. Now in the movie, they make him like have a whole, not character arc, but they make him have more of a motive. Like, this movie's freaking horny, people. It is insane. I saw this and I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting to see Nosferatu dick, but yet here we are. The whole premise of the movie is that Count Orlok is trying to get with Lily Rose Depp's character, and there's a whole backstory with that and a whole bunch of different motives with that. But I'll say, when the two of them are like conversating and like having a regular conversation, I was like, this is very, very, like, it makes him more of a human character than in the original one, where of course he's meant to be like a vampire, but you don't know exactly what he is. He does look kind of just like a monster. In this one, and this is told pretty explicitly, he's like just a rotting corpse. Like, you see his like torn, mangled flesh, you see his bones, you see like his hair like all the way in the back. It's a very interesting look. They definitely make him more of a character, and I think for this movie, for the story that they were going for, that works fine. But as someone who's more familiar with the classic one, that they might be like, what the heck? But But again, for this movie, I think that was probably the best option. I wasn't expecting him to have as much dialogue as he does. Bill Scat, you know who I'm talking about. He did an excellent job portraying him. His voice was very, very unique. Again, very thick type of accent. It worked very well for the movie. One thing I did like that this movie did is that they took a lot of the story notes from the actual Dracula novel. Now, as anyone who knows Nosferatu, I'm not going to bore you with what you already know, but for those who don't, Nosferatu is an unauthorized adaptation of Dracula. It's literally Dracula, but with the names changed, location changed, and some certain characters omitted as a whole thing. Because in the original movie, they didn't have Willem Dafoe's character, who is more or less Van Helsing in this movie. They call him a different name, but his character is Van Helsing. And if I remember correctly, they have full like sentences that were from the book that are in this movie, which I thought that was a really cool take. As someone who is more familiar with the book than like any other movie, I think that was a very unique way. And literally in the credits, it gives homage to both the classic movie and the book, which I thought that is very good. Now, one thing that is very much unique is that the characters in this movie are like actual characters. Now, in silent film, I enjoy the silent films, but you don't really connect with the characters. You know, they're doing elaborate movements. Obviously, you cannot hear them. You read their dialogue on a text box. One thing I liked about this, all these characters have like a history, a backstory, motives. I forget the actor's name right now, but he is, all I can think is Craven the Hunter, but I know him from other stuff. Very, very much a unique take for this actor, and I thought it was good. And Dr. Seward, who I think his name in the movie was Dr. Seward, and that's the name in the original book, which I thought that was interesting. I might be wrong about that. I don't know if I'm gonna look it up again, but his character is like exactly this, like looks exactly the same as the original actor from the classic movie. One thing that, of course, the casting department did very well was they found actors that could portray the characters well, and of course, physically resemble the characters from the original movie, like as a homage to that, which that was very impressive. I was very pleased with that. Now, going back to what people are probably going to say the most about this movie is horny as This movie is horny. Like I said, I didn't expect to see Nosferatu dick, yet here we are. Like, this is just a freeze frame from one scene in the movie, and there's like 10 of them. Like, literally, the final scene of the movie is Orlok dead, like laying on top of Lily Rose Depp's character as like a my phone's just trying out a storage there for some reason. I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, the last scene of the movie is literally Nosferatu's like dead corpse laying on top of Lily Rose Depp's character, all bloody and mangled. It's very interesting looking. And that's just how it ends. No end credits or anything like that. This is like a one-off thing. I will seriously doubt if they make a sequel to Nosferatu. I realized the echo in that other room was a bit annoying, so now we're in here. One thing that is like a huge round of applause for this movie is that literally everybody in this movie is like, we're giving it our all. We're going all out. Like, every character was memorable. Everyone's like hamming it up. Of course, big highlight, no surprise there, Willem Dafoe, who is just hamming it up. Of course, his character, who's, you know, like I said, Van Helsing with a different name. His character is just all eccentric. Like, literally, this is just a still frame from the movie. He also has my favorite line in the movie, which is this. Literally, when he said that, I was like, shoot, I have to type that down. That's just too funny. But this movie was really fun. On the horror aspect, it wasn't actually that scary. And I think that might be because, of course, Orlok's character is actually like a character. He's not like an unseen force. He talks. It's a very different kind of movie. And one thing I did like is that there was gore in the movie. There was blood in the movie, which normally I don't like that in films. And of course, that's why for a long time I didn't like horror movies. But they definitely don't overdo it with this movie. Obviously, there is a lot of blood. There is a lot of death. There's a lot of gore in this movie. There's a plague. there's a whole plague in the movie, so obviously you're going to see some gross stuff. But, like, definitely don't overdo it. It's very much more realistic. And I think that makes it more engaging for me, at least. I'm trying to think of more things to say. This is, again, I'm just trying to make this a quick little video. I don't have anything scripted. This is just my initial reactions to it. Like, see the movie. You know, I get it coming out on Christmas Day is kind of weird. Like, they kind of make it seem like it's Christmas time in the movie, which, like, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It's definitely, I'm worried that that might hurt the box office, that might hurt the residuals of this movie. But if you're thinking about seeing this movie, please go and see it. It's very engaging. It's a 2.5 hour movie, so it's not that long, all things considered. And going even further from that, this movie, it may be weird to see, but like as a historical artifacts, in terms of comparing it to the very first Nosferatu that came out in 1922. So to watch that one, then to watch this movie 102 years later with obviously brand new technology, new actors, new cinematography effects and stuff like that. It's very much seeing how far we've come in terms of filmmaking. It's very interesting to look at in that way. So just for that alone, I would really recommend seeing this movie. And that's more or less all I have to say. If y'all want more movie reviews, I guess, leave them down in the comments. Again, this is just a quick little video. If this does well, I might do a very deep dive into it, like in a few months, like when the movie comes out on like a digital release or a physical release, so I can like really talk about this one and compare it to the original. But if you're down for that, let me know. And I hope that you all have a very happy and very blessed Christmas, okay? See ya.